Hi everyone, Reverend Stephanie Wild here, psychic medium and spiritualist minister, with today's miracle moment. I'm translating the text of A Course in Miracles into widely and easily understood spiritual language, as opposed to all this convoluted Christian stuff that it was written in the first place. So today I opened the book just now to page 323. And it's paragraph 6. And I gave it a quick read, and I think the point of this paragraph is that, as I've written in the post there's literally more for us to see in this world, if we want to, than we currently do. Literally, there's more to see. And we place limits on our literal perception because we just believe what our ego tells us. We place our own limits on our perception. We create our own world. We imprison ourselves in our own, a world of our making, a world that our mind makes, the conglomeration of memories, desires, fears, beliefs that is the ego. So let me read it, and then we'll talk a bit more about it. And if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments, because I see there's a bunch of people popped up. All right, so page 323 of the text of A Course in Miracles, paragraph 6. You have no conception of the limits you have placed on your perception, and no idea of all the loveliness that you could see. But this you must remember: the attraction of guilt opposes the attraction of God. His attraction for you remains unlimited, but because your power, being his, is as great as his, you can turn away from love. What you invest in guilt, you withdraw from God. And your sight grows weak and dim and limited, for you have attempted to separate the Father from the Son and limit their communication. So yeah, there's a few interesting little nuggets of joy and insight here. So it starts out, you have no conception of the limits you have placed on your perception and no idea of the loveliness that you could see. I remember when I was studying at the Monroe Institute, we spent a week, and anyone can do this. You can go to the Monroe Institute, and I spent a week in like a pod meditating for hours at a time, all day, every day for 7 days. And by the end of it, I could literally see things that I couldn't see before. I could see more of the reality of the world. I could see the molecules, or whatever, the particles, whatever it was, vibrating about things. I could see that things weren't solid. Sometimes I can do that now, you know, when I'm really in it, when I'm really present. And something else that happened was that I saw a bird singing, and I realized it wasn't the bird singing. It was the bird allowing itself to be used as an instrument for just a strand of the music of the universe. So that it took this line of energy, I could see the line of energy through itself, and it vibrated through the bird. And I suddenly realized, right, this is why they have such beautiful and complex songs. And it made me think of when I hear a lion roar at the zoo. There's no possible way that that roar could come from that small body and be that loud and be that powerful and be that terrifying. It comes from God. It comes from the universe. The lion is simply echoing that. So these are the things we can literally see, but we deprive ourselves of seeing them because we imprison ourselves in a world of our ego. So there's so many more, and there's more stories about that. When I get on a roll, I just want to keep going. Okay, so it goes on. But this you can remember. But this you must remember: the attraction of guilt opposes the attraction of God. So guilt is just that feeling that we're separate, you know, that feeling that we're small, and we kind of beat ourselves up with this. It feels nasty, but it feels familiar. And that's our ego again. We just want to cling to our resentments and anger because it's safe. It doesn't feel scary or big or uncomfortable or different. And so there's an attraction to the smallness of our own minds and the greatness of God. His attraction, God, okay, so I call that source. I call it infinite intelligence, cosmic consciousness. You can call it the unified field. That's literally what it is. So the attraction for that and the freedom to connect with that, the power of that remains unlimited. But because our power is the same as infinite intelligence, it's equal to infinite intelligence, we also have the power to turn away from it. We turn away from it, and we then suffer under the illusion that we're separate from it. So we're just fooling ourselves. But that's called free will. That's free will. We don't have to stay in tune with infinite intelligence. We don't have to open ourselves up to that, because we are just as powerful. So we can use our power for good and open ourselves, or evil and close ourselves off to our own detriment, because then we don't get to see all the loveliness. All right. When you invest in guilt, you withdraw from God. Okay, we just said that. We can go this way or that way. And your sight grows weak and dim and limited. And that's literal. Our sight grows weak and dim and limited. Some people even say, some holistic optometrists or eye doctors say that we can actually relieve ourselves of the need for glasses. I haven't tried that. I'm quite happy with my glasses, but I have read stories of people who have been able to heal their sight. And I mean, after all, Jesus healed the blind, right? So literally, we are depriving ourselves of seeing the truth of the universe. And as I just gave you a couple of examples, the more in tune I am, the more I meditate, the more I dissolve my ego, the more in tune I am with infinite intelligence, the more I see the world for what it really is. And I can hear better, and the colors are brighter. The light feels more loving because I'm seeing things for how they really are. That's it. Your sight grows weak and dim and limited before you have it, because you've attempted to separate the Father from the Son and limit their communication. The Father and the Son is just, God and humans, or Source and humans. So all we're doing is keeping ourselves separated from all the loveliness that is reality. Sometimes it might protect us. I remember I saw 9/11 happen. I was working as an English teacher, and we had this school downtown with these huge picture windows, and you could see the two towers through these windows. That was one of the draws of the school for international students. And so we had this, probably the best view in the city of those towers. And I heard this great boom, and I came running out. I thought it was like something like the air conditioner, the central air had blown up or something. And one of the other teachers said, "Oh, there's been and he was pointing to the buildings, and I couldn't see anything wrong." I was like, what? I literally couldn't see it. He just kept pointing and pointing. And then I saw a dark patch. And I said, what is that? Is that paint? Is that a shadow? What is this? Is this, oh, it's a hole. Oh, is this a movie? So I had to dissolve the layers of my ego, which was trying to protect me. There were limiting beliefs, and it was trying to protect me. And finally, I saw what was there. And they say this happens Oh, hi, Susan. Yes, you can overpower your ego by acceptance and forgiveness of the self. That's exactly. Forgiveness is the path to enlightenment. Absolutely. That's exactly how you do it. You've expressed it beautifully, and that is what the Course teaches. That's what the Course gets us to practice day after day after day. So tune into the podcast when it launches. What I'm doing here is explaining the theoretical underpinnings and going into it more deeply and musing, you know. But that is what the Course itself, the lessons do. They help us practice that. And also my book, The Art of Forgiveness, does that. So you can get a free copy of that too if you have a specific trauma that you want to, that's causing you a great deal of pain. You can focus on that. And forgive, meaning dissolve that. And tune into yourself and infinite intelligence and be free of anger and resentment, which is the ego. But they say that the Native Australians, and I'm not sure about the Native Americans, maybe someone can tell me that, when the Native Australians, the Aboriginal Australians, were on the shore, and the three ships on the first fleet were bringing the white English people, not all of them could see it. They couldn't see it. They had no conception of these huge ships with white people that would be coming. So when I first heard that as a kid, I thought that's ridiculous. But then I experienced it on 9/11. I literally couldn't see what was too threatening to my ego. So there you have it. That is the miracle moment. We cannot see what is too threatening to our ego, but we have no idea of all the loveliness that we could see if we practice dissolving our egos. So that is what I recommend we do. Oh, you have. Oh, Susan. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I hope you got a lot out of it. The first book, The Art of Forgiving, it's very, very intense, very short, very intense. It gets you through step by step any kind of anger and resentment, trauma, deep trauma, or not so deep that you might have. And then the second book, The Art of Romance, you can also get that free from my website, or you can buy it on Amazon. And it's about creating the romantic life of your dreams. And again, it's about dismantling all those rules that we have learned that our ego wants us to keep around love, sex, and romance. We don't need those rules. We only need to tune into infinite intelligence and transmit love to one another. And all our relationships can be much more peaceful and much more fulfilling, and we will be able to see all the loveliness that our ego tries to protect us from. So I will see you on the flip side. And until then, much love to everybody. Mwah. Have a great evening.